Hello everyone and welcome to the lecture series of School of Finance and Commerce. Today we are going to discuss a new topic from microeconomics and the course code is BCom 1002. Our topic of discussion in today's lecture will be concept of demand. Here are the objectives of today's lecture. The first one is to develop the conceptual understanding of demand. The second one is to familiarize students with various aspects of demand analysis. And the last one is to apply the acquired knowledge in real life situations. And I hope that by end of this lecture we will be able to cover these objectives. Now let's discuss the concept of demand in more detail. In formal economic theory of demand, the decision is taken by the household. It means household are the person who are going to consume all the goods and services which are available in market. So, in formal economic theory of demand, the decision is always taken by household. So, demand pattern of household is explained by theory of consumer behavior. It means basically the demand pattern of a household or demand pattern of all the persons are basically explained with the help of consumer behavior. So consumer behavior is one which explain demand pattern of the people. But in real world, households are not the only consumer because various business firms and government are also equally important consumers because they are also consuming goods. As we all know that business firms are consuming raw material to make the final product and government is also a purchaser. They also buy goods. In microeconomics, demand analysis is an important tool which helps business firms in sales forecasting, profit planning, deciding a new product policy, advertising policy, etc. So when we talk about microeconomics, it means we are talking about individual firms. So demand analysis is always helpful for the business firms in sales forecasting because if they are having knowledge regarding demand, then they can forecast their sales, that how much sales they are making in near future. And profit planning is also done on the basis of demand analysis. And next, deciding a new product policy. So if any firm is deciding to launch a new product, then it is also decided after knowing the demand analysis. And then advertising policy. If consumers are more aware regarding your product, then there will be no advertisement or there will be less advertisement expenditure. So all these decisions are taken by business firms on the basis of demand analysis. So if they are having knowledge of demand of their product in the market, then it will be easy for them to make decisions regarding all these elements. Now let's discuss about demand analysis. According to Joel Dean, demand analysis has the following important business or managerial purpose. It means demand analysis is important because it helps in the first one is forecasting sales. It means on the basis of demand analysis, sales can be forecasted. For example, if for a particular product demand is increasing or higher in market, then sales will be increased in the near future. And if demand is less, then we can forecast then sales will be lower in the near future. So sales can be forecasted on the basis of demand analysis. The second purpose is manipulating demand. It means after identify demand for your product in the market, you can manipulate demand with the help of advertising mainly. And then appraising salesman performance. If salesman is doing good, then he can be appraised on the basis of his performance. And then tracing the trend of firm's competitive position in the market. We can also identify our firm's competitive position in the market. We can compare our firm with the competitors available in the market. So these all factors can be identified or decided on the basis of demand analysis. However, demand analysis was primarily used for forecasting and promotion of sales. So these two were the main primary use of demand analysis at initial time, that is sales forecasting and promotion of sales. Now, demand analysis is a study of various factors which influence the demand of a product or service and to measure the effect of these influences on demand. So demand analysis is basically a study of various elements which element or which factor are affecting demand. And demand analysis throws light on certain fundamental problems of business. If business is facing some problem, then with the help of demand analysis, these problem can be resolved. And producer, before finalizing his production schedule, has to answer the following question. So in next slide, we are going to discuss about the questions which a producer has to answer before he is going to plan his production schedule. Here is the list of questions which a producer has to answer before planning his production schedule. So the first question he has to answer is what to produce. What particular varieties of goods and services he has to produce to meet the requirements of the consumer. So the producer basically needs to identify that which kinds of goods and services are demanded by the consumer, and then he need to produce those type of goods only which are demanded by the consumer. So this is the first question which a producer has to answer before planning his production schedule. And the second question is where to produce. In which particular place he has to produce different goods and services. So he basically need to identify a suitable place where he can produce the goods and services which he has decided to produce. So place is basically decided on the basis of availability of raw material and labor. And then the next question is when to produce. When means the timing. So it is related to the timing of production and sale of a product. So two timing will be decided. The first one is timing of production, that means at which time the production will take place, and then sale of product, it means to identify basically the time for selling. When there is a greater demand, then more is to be prepared and sold in the market, and if demand is lesser, then less is prepared and sold in the market. The next question which a producer needs to answer is how to produce. So in order to this answer, what particular strategies and techniques he has to adopt in order to produce different goods and services. So producer has to identify which type of technique and technology he can use in producing those goods which he has decided to produce. Then the next question is how much to produce. It is directly related to the quantities of goods. So what particular quantity of goods he has to produce to meet the demand in the market, and quantity is always based upon the demand of particular product or service in the market. Then the next question which a producer has to answer is for whom to produce. So he basically need to identify that which class of people he is going to serve. So for which particular category of consumers, rich, middle class or poor, he has to produce the goods and services. So firstly he will identify that which class he is going to serve, either rich, middle class or the poor class. And we have to keep in mind that these classes are always decided on the basis of income of the people. So a producer needs to identify that to which class he is going to serve. So these were the questions which a producer needs to answer before starting his production schedule. Now we need to look upon the aspects which are covered under demand analysis. So the first aspect is determinants of demand. Determinants of demand are basically price of a particular commodity, income of the consumer, price of related good, taste and preference of the consumer. So these all are determinants of demand. So a business executive should identify the various factors and forces which influences demand for a product in the market. So a business executive firstly need to identify all the factors which affect demand in the market. This helps him to estimate the level of demand for his product in the market. So all these factors are going to help a producer to identify demand for his particular product which he is producing. Then the second aspect which is covered under demand analysis is elasticity of demand. Elasticity is basically the flexibility. So the knowledge of elasticity of demand will enable the producer to adjust his plan according to the nature of elasticity for his product in the market. So elasticity is going to help a producer in particular demand of his particular product in the market. And then the next aspect is demand forecasting. It helps the producer to prepare the plan for future. So if a producer is having knowledge of demand analysis, then it will help him to prepare plan for the future time period. Present demand conditions and elasticity of demand will enable him to estimate the future demand. So these two things, that is present demand for his product and elasticity of demand for his particular product, these two things are going to help a producer to estimate future demand of his product in the market. And the next aspect is demand distinction. It helps him to produce either consumer goods, durable or perishable. So first of all, a producer needs to identify that which type of goods he is going to produce, either consumer good or producer good. Consumer goods are those goods which are consumed by the consumer, and producer goods are those goods such as raw material which are used by producer to make final product. So firstly, a producer needs to identify that whether he is going to produce consumer good or producer good. And if he has make a plan to make consumer good, then he have to identify that which type of consumer goods he is going to produce, either durable goods or perishable goods. Durable goods are those goods which can be used over time, and perishable goods are those goods which can decay earlier. So he should know whether the demand is direct or derived. So he should also know that demand for his product is whether direct or derived. Direct demand is when consumer is demanding directly, and derived demand is basically when producer is demanding on behalf of consumer. And also, if producers need to identify that demand for his product will be in short run or in long run. And the next aspect which is covered under demand analysis is sales forecasting, budgeting and profit. It helps management to predict the most likely sales in future and fix the sales quota of sales representative as the expected amount of revenue and profit in the future. So basically, if a producer is having knowledge of demand analysis of his product in the market, then on the basis of that he can forecast his sales, he can estimate budgeting, and he can estimate profit in the future. Then the next aspect which is covered under demand analysis is manipulating the demand. In order to push the total sales, a company may resort to various kind of strategy. It provides the insight necessary for effective manipulation of demand, and demand analysis helps the management to adopt most effective methods of sales promotion policies. So manipulating of demand is directly related to change in demand. It means demand for a particular product can be increased with the help of advertisement, or we can say with the help of promotion policies. So if a producer is having knowledge regarding demand analysis for his product or service, then on the basis of that he can identify that which type of strategies or policies he can adopt so that demand for his product can be increased in the market. And then the last aspect which is covered under demand analysis is proper allocation of resources. It helps management to take decisions with respect to total volume of investment in business. It means a producer, on the basis of demand analysis, has to allocate resources properly so that more profits can be generated. So these were the aspects which are covered under demand analysis. Now, as we know about the concept of demand and demand analysis, so we can move forward to the meaning of demand. Ordinarily, we use terms desire, want, and demand in the same sense in our general life. But in economics, each three terms are having different meanings. That is, want, desire, and demand in economics are having different meanings. Desire is just a wishful thinking. And if you have money but you are not willing to spend it on any product or service, then it's just a want. Desire will become demand when you are ready to buy product at a given price and at a given point of time. So we can say that want, when it is backed by purchasing power, becomes desire. Purchasing power is basically the money, we say. And then when desire is backed by willingness to pay, it means you are having money, but if you are willing to pay money, or if you are willing to spend that money, then it becomes demand. And then if you are willing to pay and with reference to price and time, it means at a given price or at a given point of time, right? So want, when it is backed by purchasing power, become desire, and when desire is backed by willingness to pay, then it become demand at a given point of time and at given prices. So at that time it become demand. Here we have definitions of demand. The first one is given by Ferguson. According to him, demand refers to the quantities of a commodity that the consumers are able and willing to buy at each possible price during a given period of time, other things being equal. It means demand is basically the quantities of commodity that consumers are able, it means they are having money, and then willingness to buy, it means they are willing to spend that money for buying a particular product at each possible price during a given period of time. So this becomes demand, and other things being equal, it means all other factor will be constant. The second definition is given by B.R. Schleicher. According to him, demand is the ability and willingness to buy specific quantities of a good at alternative prices in a given time period. Ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus, it's a Latin word. It means all other things being equal. So according to him, demand is basically the ability and willingness to buy specific commodities of a good at a alternative prices and in a given time of period, and other things remaining the same. So five constituents appears from these definitions, and these are: the first one is desire for a product. It means there should be a desire to purchase a product. And the second one is money to satisfy the desire. It means the particular person should have money to satisfy that particular desire. And third one is willingness to spend the money. It means he should be willing to spend that money to buy that particular commodity. And the next one is the relationship of price and quantity demanded. So there is a relationship between price and quantity demanded, which we will discuss under law of demand. And the last one is relationship of time and quantity of commodity demanded. So demand is created by consumer. It depends on utility of product or services, we can say. And a consumer generally want to buy more at lower prices and will buy less at higher prices. The next topic, or we can say the last topic of today's lecture, is types of demand. So in general, we have three types of demand. The first one is price demand, the second one is income demand, and the third one is cross demand. So first of all, let's discuss price demand. It means basically when demand is affected by price of a particular commodity. So it refers to various amount of a commodity that consumer will purchase at a given series of prices. It assumes that other determinants of demand, such as income of the consumer, price of related good, taste and preference of the consumers, expectation of the consumer for future prices, etc., would remain constant or equal, and only price is the factor which will affect demand. It only tells us that how changes in price brings about change in demand for a product in the market. It means we basically look forward to the change in demand due to change in price. When demand is determined on the basis of prices, then it is known as price demand. And the second type of demand we have is the income demand. So same as price demand, here income is the only determinant which will affect demand. So income will be determined on the basis of income of the consumer. So we can say that demand here is determined on the basis of income of the consumer. So now it refers to the various amounts of a commodity that consumers would purchase at different levels of income. If his income is going to increase, then it's general behavior of the consumer that he will buy more quantity of a particular commodity. So while studying income demand, we assume that other determinants of demand such as price of particular good, price of a related good, expectation of the consumer will be constant. It explains how there will be change in demand of a product due to change in level of income of the consumer. So we can say here demand is a function of income of the consumer. And the third type of demand we have is cross demand. Cross demand again can be divided into two: substitution demand and complementary demand. So it refers to the quantity of a commodity that are purchased by consumer as a result of change in prices of another commodity. And these another commodities are substitution good and complementary goods. So these were the three types of demand which we have studied. In order to conclude, we can say that demand is an economic principle referring to a consumer's desire to purchase goods and services and his willingness to pay a price for a specified good or services. And holding all other factors constant, an increase in price of a good or service will decrease the quantity demanded. It's general behavior of the consumer that if prices for a particular commodity are going to increase, then quantity demanded for that particular product will be decreased, and vice versa. It means if prices are decreasing, then consumer will buy more quantity of a particular commodity. And market demand is the total quantity demanded across all consumer in a market for a given good. So market demand is made of all the addition of the individual demand. And aggregate demand is the total demand for goods and services in an economy. And multiple stocking strategies are often required to handle demand. So this was all about concept of demand. Here I have given you some practice questions which will help you in self-evaluation, that is how much you got from this lecture. The first question is, what do you understand by demand? Discuss demand analysis in detail. So you basically have to discuss all the aspects which are covered under demand analysis in this question. And second question is, explain types of demand. So in order to answer this question, you basically have to explain three types of demand which we have discussed earlier. That is price demand, income demand, and cross demand. And I hope that you will be able to answer these questions. Here is the list of references which I have used in preparation of this video lecture. You can go through these links if you want to go in more detail. Now I would like to wind up the session. Thank you.